In 1854, the British colonial government did something that had nothing to do with banking. They built a postal network. Not a bank, not a financial institution, not a fintech company, just mail. And then something happened that nobody planned for. People started trusting it. The postman came every week. He knew your name. He knew your family. He showed up when nobody else did. And so when the government said you can now deposit your savings here, people said yes. Not because the product was great, because the presence already existed. 154,000 post offices. Double the branch network of every bank in India combined. 162 million savings account holders. More account holders than the population of Russia. And not one of them ever called it a fintech company. Now, here is the part that should genuinely stop you. Nobody designed India Post to be a financial empire. The savings accounts came later, almost by accident. The money orders? Those were for migrant workers sending wages back home. The insurance? A welfare scheme for postal employees that quietly became a national product. None of it was the plan. It accumulated. What India Post had was not a product strategy. It had presence. Every district, every tehsil, every cluster of villages that private capital had looked at and decided was not worth the investment. The post office was already there. The financial layer did not create the reach. The reach created the opportunity for the financial layer. Reach, then trust, then product. In that order. Always. Now, fast forward 50 years. Fintech startups began raising hundreds of millions of dollars. Their pitch decks had one big idea at the center. Last mile access. Rural trust. The doorstep relationship. They called it a moonshot. It had already been done. By postmen on bicycles. No VC funding. No pitch deck. No product market fit framework. Just presence. Built over 100 years. So what do you do with that information? You audit yourself. Not your product roadmap. Not your marketing funnel. Not your Q3 targets. You audit what you have already built. The things you stopped paying attention to. That newsletter you have been sending to 4,000 people in one niche for 2 years. That is not a side project. That is a distribution channel. That community you run. The one nobody is monetizing. The WhatsApp group. The Discord. The Slack. The forum that somehow stays alive. That is not a hobby. That is infrastructure. That internal process you built. The one that saves your clients 6 hours a week. The one you hand over during onboarding and never charge for separately. That is not a service feature. That is a product waiting to be packaged. The moat is never the thing you are building toward. It is almost always the thing you built without realizing it, while you were busy doing something else entirely. India Post did not set out to bank a nation. It set out to deliver mail. And in doing so, without planning it, without pitching it, without a single slide deck, it became the largest financial network in the history of this country. Without a pitch deck, without a funding round, without a growth hacker or a GTM strategy or a North Star metric, just presence, built across 100 years. So before you build the next thing, before you open another tab, launch another offer, start another funnel, sit with one question. What are you actually sitting on? Not what you are building, not what you are planning, not what you pitched last week, what you have already built, that you walked past this morning without seeing it. India Post banked a nation by delivering letters. Your version of that is already somewhere in your business. Find it.